I just wanted to have your indulgence, and I know that members are tired, but upon some reflection, and when we were vetting the CS nominee for agriculture, I've just thought about it that he adversely mentioned some Kenyans on their role in one of the questions that was brought out by Honorable Mbui. And I just think that the fact that they are not here to substantiate or to agree to it, I think and believe it should be expunged from the Hansard, because then it puts question into their character and they're not able to defend themselves before this vetting committee.
Any comments?
Yeah.
Yes, George?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I do appreciate the concerns that have been raised, but my worry is to what extent are we supposed to receive this information? To what extent are we supposed to reject it? And to what extent we are supposed to decide what to make out of it? In my view, I think this is purely for the committee to see what to make out of that information per se. It may not be strictly in accordance with the rules of evidence, but it is information we can decide what to do with it per se.
Robert?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the sentiments that were expressed by the nominee are extremely sensitive, and you know that we have ourselves raised certain concerns, and one of the issues that you are saying is that if it's an allegation and the nominee is given an opportunity and they decline, if you don't have any evidence, it dies there. But you see, you have an opportunity to defend yourself. These people who are prominent Kenyans, including immediate former president of the Republic, were named adversely, and they have no opportunity to defend themselves. I think I want to support that we expurge that from the records of these deliberations.
Chair.
Robert, in English, in law, we say delay defeats equity. You are the one who asked the question, and when the names were being dropped, you maintained a stoic silence. What do we make out of that?
Mr. Speaker, I wasn't silent. I remember very clearly that when I made my interjection, I indicated that the nominee the issue that I had raised is that the nominee did not show up to actually read his petition on the floor.
And he said there was a gun on his head.
But you see...
And then said many other things and named 3 people.
Yes, but you see, Mr. Speaker, the main major issue was his absence. But when he started talking, he was talking about letters that were never, ever presented even to the House. So I don't know how we would accept that evidence if there was no document presented to the National Assembly. The only thing the Speaker said is that when it was called, he said the person is absent and therefore it could not proceed.
Yes, majority. Let me take Owen first.
Yes, my take on this is depending on what we are doing and the objective for this meeting. I think the question is, do we find him fit for office based on the information he has given us or not? But whether he has mentioned this or that, I don't think it's either here or there. After all, the cat has already bolted, the information is out there. Even if we expunged it from record, for which I have no objection, how will it help to recant the information? Unless now we go on camera or we call him
on
camera.
Me really, both sides have got a point. But the question one would want to ask is, what would the expunging of that testimony, that bit of testimony, how would it jeopardize or prejudice his case?
Yes.
If we were to expunge it, we need to take that into consideration. In my view, if you ask me, I don't see how it would prejudice his case, because it's not in any way some evidence which will determine whether we approve him or not. But then there's something more serious in my view, again, the benefit of hindsight, maybe we are wrong for having taken this long to raise it. You know, apart from mentioning persons who are out there, the nominee alleged that the Speaker of the National Assembly was instructed by an employee of State House, going by the name, I think, Jomo Geshaga, to rush back to the House. There's a letter coming there. You know, that is rather dangerous.
Outrageous allegation.
Yes, very outrageous and dangerous, if you ask me. And therefore, as you like saying, Honorable Speaker, that you let the chips lie where they fell. We could, in this instance, decide to ignore that bit of evidence, okay, completely, without necessarily talking about expunging or otherwise. But then, therefore, it would mean, therefore, that we don't at all refer to it. Okay, in our Monday meeting when we consider the report.
Let me hear them.
Yes.
Honorable Chair, I think this is an issue which we can do it internally when you're doing our report writing.
Hello, Chair.
Yes,
Chair. I have to agree with what Honorable Pio is saying, because depending on how we treat his answer and the question, and probably should also inform us as members the kind of questions that we put to nominees. And I have really pleaded even before, let us avoid playing to the gallery. And I'm not saying Honorable Mbui was playing to the gallery, but if you ask me, if I was to judge Linturi's character based on the question asked by Honorable Mbui, it would have an effect. And therefore, it is Honorable Mbui who brought it forth in his defense. And I think someone actually even pushed him when he said he had a gun over his head. And when somebody insisted here, that's when he name dropped. And I also spoke about it, Honorable Chair. And I confirmed that it was indeed true, because I am the one who called the Honorable Linturi to Jacaranda Hotel, and I said that. Therefore, based on what he was answering, then I think if you were to expunge that from the Hansard, then would also be constrained as a committee on how we judge his character based on the question asked by the Honorable Mbui. I would therefore just say, as Opio says, let the chips lie where they fell. It would have been better had the Honorable Lesuda raised that issue when the nominee was still here, so that then he can expunge and explain himself without having to mention other people adversely.
Naisula, you have a point, but delay defeats equity. And perhaps if you raised the matter when the Honorable Linturi was here, it would have given other consequential questions, taking a different trajectory on the same matter. That notwithstanding is a matter that you have raised, and when we retreat to engage in analyzing what has come before us, we can flag it out and discuss it. You carry